Welcome to Rachel Uncensored, one of the few places on the internet that you can find an uncensored version of me. Hello, I'm Rachel, and welcome back to another solo episode. The only other place on the internet that you can find an uncensored version of me is the other podcast I have, Sweet and Salty Sisters, also known as SAS, with my sister over on Patreon. If you want to check that out, the link is down below. But if you just want to listen to me here, that's fine too. I don't know why. I don't got much to say. I just ramble for 30 to 60 minutes. And some of y'all stick around. Okay, enough talking about me as the joke of the day. Let's go on to the actual joke of the day. I told my girlfriend she drew her eyebrows too high. She seems surprised. You get it? Because when your eyebrows are raised, you look surprised, and she drew hers too high. So she looks surprised. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't know. I also I just look up joke of the day online, and I've gotten to the point where I don't remember what I've said already. Whoops. I almost read one, why doesn't a scientist trust an atom? Because they make up everything. And I was like, have I read that before? I can't remember. Well, if I hadn't, you just got two jokes of the day. You're ready. You're ready. You're welcome. Okay, moving on quickly, because no one wants to hear any of that. Affirmations for a badass. Are you ready to hear your affirmation for you little fucking badass? You can do it. You're fucking strong. These are my own affirmations. I'm loving it. Okay, here's what my little deck of cards says for today. Happiness is a choice. Today, I choose to be over the fucking top happy. Obviously, terrible things can happen in your life that can make your day just bad or whatever. But happiness, a broad way to say it is, it is a choice. Your mindset is a choice. How you choose to react to things is a choice. You can look at all the negative things in your life and dwell on those. Or you could look at all the positive things and be really grateful and then be like, okay, how do we make those negative things go away or switch into positives? Or you can just dwell and be like, oh, the good things don't matter because all of these bad things are happening. It definitely is a mindset. It's a choice to an extent. If someone close to you passes away suddenly, you're not going to be very happy that day. That's a fact of life. But I've known this for a while, and we've talked about this before. How you talk to yourself and how you speak out loud can change the way your brain works. Hold on, sorry, I'm very distracted. There are two ants circling Blaze's dog treats, and if I don't kill them now, they're going to take them back to their lair. Hold on. Killed those little motherfuckers. The amount of ants, I've had issues with ants the past couple of days because of the rain that's been happening here in Southern California. Anyway, as I was saying, if you wake up and you're like, I am going to be happy today, I'm going to, look at all the positives, I'm going to have a good day, I feel great, I am great, blah, blah, blah. And you just keep saying positive things, the likelihood of you having a better day, without external things. Like if you have, a bird poop on your head 10 times throughout the day, you're going to be like, that was really fucking shitty and weird and I'm confused. Well, actually, I would be, if I just kept getting randomly shit on, I would be like, what is happening? I don't think I'd be angry. I'd be like, the world is ending or someone's out to get me. I would go to concern. I wouldn't be angry, I'd be concerned. But anyway, sorry. Without massive external things influencing you that day, if you just wake up and decide you're going to have a good day, you're going to look at all the positives, you're in a good mood. If you just wake up and you're like, today's great, I feel good, I'm doing it, the chances of you having a good day are way greater than if you wake up and you go, ugh, I hate today. I look ugly. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. This is stupid. That mindset does matter. Also, if you constantly rag on yourself and point out all the negatives, you're going to start thinking negative things about yourself daily instead of you just keep pointing out all the good things about yourself. So happiness is a choice to an extent, with massive trauma things aside. I very much stand by that. You can change the way your brain reacts to things and the way your brain functions. I think me constantly being like, I'm Rachel Ballinger, I can do anything, or fake it till you make it, has definitely made me a more successful person than if I go, I don't know how to do that. Okay, maybe I'll figure it out. Like, no, your mindset means so much. Our friend just actually sent us a link on Instagram saying how she's reading this book and she loves it, how we can truly change how our brain functions just by how we speak and correcting our thoughts when we have them. Because sometimes you can't help but have a thought, but it doesn't matter the first thought. What matters is the second thought, how you deal with that first thought. It's just like, yeah, if someone's really mean to you, your emotions are valid, but how you react to that is your choice, and doesn't mean that however you react to that is going to be valid. Your emotions are valid, but how you act on it, as long as you handle it correctly, would be valid. But if you don't handle it correctly, that's on you. You've misstepped. Even though your emotions are correct, your actions need to be thought about. Does that make sense? I'm rambling. I just ramble. Okay. I have two things that piss me off. One of them is something I've learned this week that leads into me being pissed off. And another one is just me being pissed off about something else. So what I've learned this week is that this administration has overruled, has reversed, has changed the ban on churches being able to campaign for political candidates. I just learned this. So for years and years, century, if you will, churches have not been allowed to promote a political candidate. If they do, they lose their tax exemption. So now in the estates of America, if you are a church, you do not have to pay taxes. And they did this be saying like, oh, well, churches give back. They're always doing things for their community. They're going to use those monies they've saved on fundraisers and charities and whatnot already. So we don't have to tax them to put that money back into the community and society because the churches are already doing that. Well, unfortunately, no, they're not. Not all of them. There are some small churches out there that do great work, but mega churches, fuck those places. The pastors should not be having these multi-bagillionaire homes and plots of lands and massive expensive cars and Rolexes. Hell no. That shouldn't be a thing. So that's why everyone's like, tax churches, tax the big churches. And for a really long time, since it's like hold on, let me look it up. More than half a century ago, there was a law placed that because churches don't pay taxes, they can't be involved in politics. Pretty much, in layman's terms, that's just what happened. So they cannot endorse political candidates. They cannot put political signs out. They're just there for religion. They're not there for politics. Well, I just found out that in July of this year, they reversed that. So now churches can endorse candidates and not lose their tax exemptions. What the hell? That makes me so angry. The separation of church and state is something that is constantly ignored. It's a policy. It's a law. It's a principle established through the First Amendment, which prohibits Congress from establishing a religion or prohibiting the free exercise of religion. So we are not supposed to incorporate religion and politics together at all in this country, okay? And by reversing this thing, that now we're weaving it together even more. Listen, I am all for anyone practicing whatever religion they want as long as it is not negatively affecting another human being. As long as you are not forcing that religion onto another person. If you start meshing religion and politics and letting religion seep into our politics, which is what the Republican Party, they are doing that more and more, both at the exact same time. They're using religion as an excuse, but I haven't seen a single thing that MAGA stands for that Jesus preached at all. But when you are meshing the two, religion and politics, you are then forcing your religion onto everyone in America. And not just any religion, it's just Christian nationalism. Because they're not meshing anyone else's religion, just the ones that they want, which is even more dangerous because you're pushing Christianity on people who might be practicing a completely different religion. And that is their right to practice that religion as long as they are not harming or forcing it upon another person. And this is just making me so angry. So angry. And of course, it's this administration that's done it. Two should not be put together. Pray to whoever you want to pray to. I don't care. If you want to follow a certain list of rules for yourself, go for it. I have no problem with that. If your religion makes you a kinder, more loving person who does good actions, fan-fucking-tastic. When people who don't practice religion have problems with religion is when people are trying to thrust their religion upon someone else or telling you can't do something because their own personal religion says you can't do it. No, that's not how it works. Your religion tells you what you can and cannot do, not what another person can and cannot do. Everyone's all stressed that the New York City mayor is going to make everyone a Muslim. He's going to push his religion onto other people. Oh, like the Christian church is doing to everybody else? Really? And also, no, he's not. So fuck off. All right, that made me pissed off today. And there's one more thing that pissed me off. It's that people, construction people, not all of them, but a lot of them, don't build things correctly anymore. And I am specifically referring to the people that redid my house before I bought it. The people that own this house before me, they remodeled it while living in it. And I was always told, if you're going to live in a place that's been remodeled, live in a place that they lived in while doing it, because they built things for function, for family, you know, not just to like flip it in 6 months and get it out on the market again. They lived here and they flipped it for a few years. My entire garage. So my garage is technically a 6-car garage, but it's split up into 4 different sections. My garage where we park our electric car, my gym, my wood shop, and my office. When I bought this house, my office was actually a studio apartment, which I loved. I was like, oh my God, great. I will have my office in there. That sounds great. Perfect. And then the city found out it wasn't up to code and they had to tear down the studio apartment in here. And I was like, okay, well, I'll make it just an office. I don't need a kitchenette or a shower in here. I'll just make it back into an office. But I thought because someone was living in here, it wouldn't leak, right? I'm like, oh, there was a human being. The guy who owned this, his son, was living in this office as a studio. And I was like, yeah, okay, great. It's going to be, livable then. Immediately within the first 3 months of me owning this home, the roof, every part of it leaked like crazy. I had roofers come out in 2022 and re-roofed my entire garage. 2 years later, leaks started happening again. I called out the roofing company this last March. They came, they patched what leaked. Okay. 7 months later, what is that? 8-9 months later, it's leaking again. Okay. So the roofing company didn't do their job right, and then didn't do their job right, and I'm still having leaks. And then guess what? My floor is being flooded. They built the house wrong, and the floor is flooding. The laminate flooring I put down with my own 2 hands is warped and ruined. How stupid of me to believe that a place someone was living was livable. How stupid of me to think that someone would build something correctly the first time. Now I have to figure out why the fuck the floor is leaking and fix it myself. And I have to watch the roofers fix the fucking roof because they won't do it right unless someone's hovering over them. And I have to look up the fucking roof lingo so they think I know what I'm talking about. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. But somehow I know I would be able to do it better than them. And people are like, well, Rachel, why don't you fix the leak yourself? And I'm like, because I fucking paid them to do it. So they're gonna fucking do it. I'm pissed. Take pride in your craftsmanship. It's not that hard. As someone who has DIY'd a lot of shit in my house, who's learned how a lot of things work, and who's fixed things well and fixed things just kind of patchwork, I know what it takes. And I know it takes skill. So why am I hiring people that are supposed to have that set of skill when they're not going to fucking do it right? That's all I had to say about that. I'm very angry. I'm angry today. I'm so sorry. Let's check if we have a sponsor and then we'll switch to a more positive vibe. Sponsor! Home Chef is our sponsor for today. Guys, it's that time of year again. The days are getting shorter, unfortunately, but a little bit crisper, and I find myself craving comfort, home-cooked meals. Home Chef makes it easy with their oven-ready options and hearty recipes that hit the spot without me stressing over what's for dinner. That is always the ongoing argument, and it's not fun. Home Chef makes cooking simple with fresh foods delivered straight to your door and easy recipes to follow with meals that actually taste great. Home Chef is rated #1 by users of other meal kits for quality, convenience, value, taste, and recipe ease. Whatever kind of day it is, classic recipes with fresh ingredients, 30-minute meals, oven-ready trays, or quick microwave options. Home Chef has you covered. There's even a dedicated family menu for hassle-free, delicious dinners. Plus, it's affordable, and in this economy, you need that. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 50% off and free shipping for your first box, plus free dessert for life. Go to homechef.com/Rachel. That is homechef.com/Rachel for 50% off your first box and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/Rachel. You must be an active subscriber to receive the free dessert. Take a sip of coffee real quick. Okay. I'm switching. Here I am. I've switched. We're going to have positive things to do and to say. I say that when we're actually going to read Am I the Assholes? So I have discovered I like the Am I the Assholes that I find on Instagram because someone's already vetted. You know, they're already vetted. Like, is this even worth reading? So here we go. Am I the asshole for allowing my family to have showers at 6:30 a.m. as guests? I don't quite know what that means. Am I the asshole for allowing my family to have showers at 6:30 a.m. as guests? Okay, let me read this. I, a 37-year-old male, have stayed with my sister, 37-year-old female, and her family over the past couple of nights, along with my wife and our 2 children, who are 15 and 13. We don't see them very often, and we asked if we could camp in their back garden so we didn't have to stay in a hotel. They don't have a big enough house for all of us to stay inside. Yesterday morning, my daughter, who was 13, woke up and said she wanted to take a shower. It was 6:30 a.m., and I hadn't had the best night's sleep, so I was ready to go inside the house too. Us talking also woke up my wife and son, who also said they wanted showers. We live in a big 5-bedroom detached house, and my sister owns a 3-bedroom semi-detached house, and we didn't realize how thin the walls were. We all had showers one after another, and I heard my niece, 24-year-old female, on the phone to her boyfriend talking about how inconsiderate we are for talking at the top of our voices first thing in the morning and having showers as guests at 6:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I told my wife about what I heard, who doesn't have much of a filter, and asked my sister if there was a problem. My sister said she had been made to feel like a guest in her own home and that we'd completely taken over the house with our stuff. My niece is a nurse and works 6 days a week, so she was really looking forward to lying in bed. She's a light sleeper, and we woke her up. I said she shouldn't have invited us if she didn't want any noise, and that we aren't used to a house with thin walls or having to share a bathroom, as we all have a suite in our house. My sister rolled her eyes and called me a prick before walking off. My niece hasn't spoken to any of us since, which I think is a bit pathetic. Am I the asshole? Oh my God. You are the biggest asshole ever, and so is your wife and children. Hold on. I'm going to, all of this. When I stay at someone else's house, I'm as quiet as a mouse. At least I think I am. I'm a pretty loud person, though. I can't control it. But never would I wake up before them and start talking in their house as if no one is sleeping. I understand maybe taking a shower, but it's the talking at full volume that is extremely disrespectful. You are in someone else's house. Therefore, you do things by their rules. You're a guest. If this is your house and they were like, guys, you woke us up at 6:30. You're like, well, that's what we do in our house. Yeah, that's the rule. But you're in their home. So shut up. I'm going to see what the comment said. Sounds like it's less taking a shower and more talking at the top of your voices. Would it have killed you to wait until someone in the house was actually awake? You're the asshole. And then the OP said, they like their sleep. We had been waiting all day if we did that. And then the person responded, then spring for hotel room, cheapskate asshole. For you not to even say sorry is absurd. From like, oh shit, we woke you up. I'm so sorry. We are not used to these thin walls. Won't happen again. Again, thanks for letting us crash here. Like, that's how that should have gone down. And then you shut up. You simply do not speak until like 11 a.m. It's not that hard. The world doesn't revolve around you, especially when you're not in your home. Someone says, you're the asshole. 6:30 a.m. is far too early, especially if you know your niece had worked 6 days the week before as a nurse and she's probably exhausted. OP says, I didn't know she had. She locked herself away when we got home the night before, so I barely spoken to her. Doesn't fucking matter. You're the asshole. You brag about your 5-bedroom house of bathrooms and then say you can't afford a hotel. You're the asshole. Perhaps your fancy house can host a series of basic consideration and standard good manners lessons for you and your family. And the OP said, I can absolutely afford one. I just thought it was unnecessary money to spend. This dude is a dick. Someone commented and said, I spent my childhood in a house separated from others, where I could sing and yell and stomp as much as I wanted. When me and my parents went on holiday, Mom made sure to remind me a hotel room isn't as isolated. And I was like 4. It's not that hard. Camping outside someone's backyard to save hotel money, but complaining about thin walls because at home they have en-suites and 5 rooms is diabolical in itself. You're the asshole. And someone else said, not only were you loud at 6:30 a.m., even if it were much later, I would still be quiet if I knew my hosts were still asleep, but you probably used up all the hot waters with 4 people showering in a row. Yeah, individualism and wealth have spawned mad entitlement among people. I don't understand how people can't figure out basic manners and then throw fits when people call them out on it. Oh, that makes me angry. Ugh. This shit I will do to not disrupt someone when I'm staying in their home. Like, I've gotten comfortable enough with Abby's parents staying at their place that, like, I feel I'm more on Abby's level than, like, a new guest. But I would still never, ever disrupt them. All right, here's another one. Am I the asshole for letting my ex-boyfriend dump me when he thought I had massive debt? I don't know. It sounds like you wanted him to break up with you. But let's read. I have been keeping an Excel workbook for years that I use to organize my personal finances. Every month, it shows the total expenses and total paid and total remaining. It's not only helpful for budgeting and remembering when stuff is due, but also removed a ton of anxiety I have around money and the nightmares I used to have that I would forget to pay something important. I used to have panic attacks, but they were cured by Excel. I love a spreadsheet. I'm right with you. Every month, I put about half the money I make into savings, IRA, HSA, vacation savings, quarterly tax savings, emergency fund. Good for you. The only debt is about $500 of a surprise $1,500 vet bill and my car loan, which has a payment of $200 per month, and which will be paid off next year. Okay, so you had a surprise vet bill and you have a car payment, but other than that, you're good. I could pay off the car and vet right now, but having an emergency cushion could pay all my bills for 3 to 5 months makes me feel safe. I give myself a weekly allowance of $150 that I can spend however I want, dates, movies, going out with friends, etc. Since my ex and I were becoming a little more serious after 6 months, we had a discussion where we decided that if things progressed, our finances would be separated, and if we moved in together, we would both pay half of all expenses. This would save us both a lot of money monthly. Well, he used my laptop where I keep the Excel documents minimized. He accidentally brought it up, and here's where the conflict began. I put everything on my credit card every month. I really want to be able to travel, and getting mile rewards is the only way I can justify expensive flights to the places I really want to explore. It sounds like this person, this OP, is very good with finances, very responsible, and knows to put things on credit card for the rewards, but knows, you know, in case something happens, I need a cushion, and knowing when they have to pay things off versus when they don't have to. Okay. Continuing. Last year, I was even able to redeem a ticket for a friend to go with me to France. I covered all the flight as well as half of the Airbnb. That is so awesome. I can't put the car payment or the vet bill on the card, but everything else goes on my miles card, which I then pay off a couple days after paying my bills when the balance settles. I put the amount that would generally equal my credit card balance after paying bills in a separate spreadsheet as well, mainly as a reminder to pay the balance because I'm paranoid that I'll forget to pay it one month. Remember, this is a therapeutic spreadsheet. Oh, I get it. All of mine are therapeutic. However, he saw all my expenses laid out and the quote unquote total at the bottom and thought my expenses were nearly doubled what they are, since the total includes the credit card payment. I guess he also assumed that the credit card payment was the monthly payment or something, which would have made the balance insane. He also noticed that I had Macy's, Victoria's Secret, and Best Buy lines in the spreadsheet, and he assumed I had maxed out retail cards. Although the amount to pay was at zero, I just leave them to remind me of due dates in case I do use them to get something discounted. So he stewed on it for a few days and then sat me down and said that he'd been thinking about what he found. And, well, he doesn't know what he found. And told me he couldn't stay with me if I was going to be irresponsible. That if I didn't start calling every credit card I had right now in front of him to cancel and shred the cards in front of him, that he would break up with me. The last thing you should do with a credit card is cancel it. That dings your credit, you dumbass. He kept talking over me about it. I tried to tell him about my savings and the fact that my actual debt was less than $4,000. He didn't believe me. He called me a liar and said he couldn't trust me, so he dumped me. Girl, baby girl, you just dodged a massive bullet. He was already trying to control your finances when you're 6 months into the relationship, and he also wouldn't believe you when you tried to tell him what the spreadsheets actually said. He's a dumbass. I cried with some friends who were shocked, since I have sat down with several of them who had asked to help set up a similar system of their own to help pay down debt and start savings. So your friends know you're good with money, and your boyfriend didn't. I guess the truth got back to him. He was mad that I, quote unquote, let him break up with me. Even though he makes more than me, I am much better off than him, apparently. And he is really upset, since if we moved in together, I would have been completely capable of covering my half, and he would have liked that I had a pretty large chunks of savings. I had also told him that I would get us both tickets to Italy for our 1-year anniversary. I honestly don't know if I'm the asshole or not. I could have explained the situation more clearly and calmly and been a little more forthcoming and transparent with my finances from the start. However, the moment I was confronted, I felt completely blindsided. I felt like my privacy had been violated, because it had. And I felt that receiving an ultimatum without even hearing me out was a deal breaker for him. But now my friends are expressing that I may be passing up a nice guy over a misunderstanding. Not nice guy. And that if his assumptions were correct, he would have been right. I feel like I don't want to spend time with someone who would talk to me that way, but maybe I should work a little harder to make it work. Am I the asshole? No. He showed who he was. He's not a nice guy because he doesn't beat you and cheat on you. He saw something he misunderstood, started attacking you for it, started telling you what you have to do to save the relationship, and wouldn't listen to you. Didn't give you a chance to say your side. He didn't come at you like an adult. He came at you as if you were a child and he was a parent, and it's like, you're going to be grounded if you don't do exactly what I say, no back talk. Like, that's bullshit. But let's see what people said. What kind of quote unquote nice guy would not hear your side of the story before jumping to conclusions? OP said, my friend thinks that I would have had a spending problem though. He would have been right trying to stage an intervention, but only went wrong because the way my spreadsheet was laid out, it looked like I was paying down a massive credit card. And someone said, you're not understanding the message. If you came down with a condition that left you unable to work for a bit, he would be gone. You are financially beneficial, nothing more. I'm sorry. And OP said, this is such a hard pill to swallow. I would stand by someone and support them no matter what if I loved them and they loved me. It's hard not to project that, you know? And then the person said, you said he didn't believe me, called me a liar, and said he couldn't trust me, so he dumped me. Do you want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't trust you? You dodged a bullet, not the asshole. Yeah, everyone's saying not the asshole. Baby boo. No. Someone said monthly car payments, $200. Emergency pet tooth extraction, $1,500. Finding out your boyfriend is an angry baby man before you moved in together? Priceless. Does anyone remember those MasterCard commercials? I loved those. They were so good. That was good marketing. Someone said, guy invades privacy. Guy talks down to girl about what he found when he invaded her privacy. Guy is completely embarrassingly wrong about everything. Guy blames girl. Definitely dodged a bullet, OP. I was out the minute he insisted she canceled and shredded the cards in front of her. What next? He controls both their finances? No, just no. Finances are such a huge issue in relationships, and you have to make sure you're on the same page as someone and how you deal with those things and how you deal with debt and savings, blah, blah, before you get super, super, super serious with them. But you cannot control someone else's finances. Like, Abby's and my finances are completely separate, and they will stay completely separate, but we're open about them. We don't tell each other how to deal with it. If one of us wants a smaller savings account than the other, that's it. Okay. But if something happens, until we're married, we have to deal with it on our own. But once we're married, she can do whatever she wants, and I love her, and I'll pay for everything. But it's not true. She has a job. But you have to sit down and figure that out early. And you did. That's basically what this was. You had an unprompted financial conversation before you guys moved in together and got super serious and realized that you are not on the same page financially because he doesn't trust you financially because he doesn't know how to read a motherfucking spreadsheet or ask questions. But finances, man, they will make or break a relationship for sure. Here's another one. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she has no right to give me life advice because she's younger than me? I'm younger than my sister, and I've been giving her a lot of life advice lately, and I have every right to do so because she says I can. Age doesn't matter. Consent does. But let's see what you said. I, a 24-year-old male, sometimes pick up my 16-year-old female sister from her high school to drive her to our parents' house because of how all of our schedules work. I tend to drink a lot of Red Bull, the energy drink, throughout my day, maybe 3 to 4. Oh, bro, that is so bad for you. Not judging, just letting you know. 1 to start my day, 1 when I get off work and while I pick up my sister, and 1 to 2 at night. Why would you drink 1 at night? You're going to bed. I digress. I believe that they help me function well during the day. It sounds like you have ADHD and you're using caffeine in Red Bull to regulate your system. I do the same with coffee. I understand. But Red Bull, energy drinks are so bad for your heart. I had to wean off of them. They're so delicious, though. I understand the addiction. Again, I'm not judging. It's just not well known how bad they are for you. Yesterday, when I picked up my sister and I was driving with my Red Bull and a cup holder next to me, my sister told me that she's worried about if I have a caffeine addiction and that she thinks I should stop drinking so much Red Bull. I got kind of upset. My sister, who is 8 years younger than me, trying to give me life advice is just fucking dumb. Oh, you're dumb. You got defensive because you know she's right. So you tried to belittle her, therefore making what she says not worthy of your attention, when in fact, she is absolutely correct. People are ending up in the hospital all the time with heart issues due to how much energy drinks they're drinking. This is a perfect example that age doesn't equate to how smart you are, because your 16-year-old little sister is a lot smarter than you, a 24-year-old male. Soul is our sponsor for today. If you guys have followed my journey this last year, I've cut out drinking immensely, but sometimes there are nights where I want a little buzz still, and that's where Soul comes in. Soul's out-of-office gummies and drinks give me the same light, happy buzz without the hangover, the sugar, or the awkward next mornings. After a long day, I used to pour a glass of vodka soda to relax, but lately I've been reaching for Soul's out-of-office gummies and drinks instead. They help me unwind and ease into my evening without the alcohol or next day fog, because as I get older, those hangovers last a lot longer. Soul is a wellness brand that believes feeling good should be fun and easy. Soul specializes in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation. With 5 different strengths, you can tailor the dose to fit your vibe. From a gentle 1.5 milligram microdose to their newest 15 milligram gummy for a more elevated experience. I personally love a 2.5. It gets me right there. I feel it, but I'm not spacey and I can still hold conversations. So if you like their out-of-office gummies, you need to try their new out-of-office beverages. It is so much fun to have something to just sip on while you're hanging out with your friends. So if you want to test it out, bring on the good vibes and treat yourself to Soul today. Right now, Soul is offering my audience 30% off your entire order. Just go to getsoul.com and use code RU. That's getsoul.com, promo code RU for 30% off. And Soul is SOUL. Continuing on. I told her that she has no idea what it's like to get up so early for work and work 8 hours. I feel kind of bad now looking back because I was pretty stern and called her a moron under my breath, but I knew she heard me. Wow, you are a giant baby. How immature can you be? Your sister's like, hey, I love you and I'm concerned for your health. These things are bad for you and I love you, so I don't want you to die. Fuck you, you're immature and a moron. What? What? How is that the reaction? Someone said, she's right. That's a hell of a lot of caffeine. Age doesn't change that. You're the asshole for being mean. And also 3 to 4 energy drinks per day is not healthy. Everyone's like, yeah, she's trying to help you. I had an addiction to rock stars for a while. There's a lot of caffeine in Red Bulls. I don't know anyone who will drink more than 1 can a day at most with no breaks. Even back when I was living on campus for college and everyone was sleep deprived due to studying for finals. 3 to 4 cans a day and then a couple at night just to function properly is an addiction. It's legit why doctors put caffeine on a list of things to check off that you've taken or ingested in the last few hours before a procedure when they're trying to find a medication for you. Someone said ADHD meds, bro, please. Switch to espresso in fancy little cups. The effect is the same, but it will look a lot more stylish. It's also not as bad for you. A lot of caffeine is bad for you, but it's the energy drinks, what they do to your heart, that's really fucked up. So yeah, maybe switch to espresso and wean yourself down to just normal cups of coffee. I'm not defending caffeine addiction. Not enough info to say if he's ND, but ADHD meds are stimulants because we react differently. If he's ADHD and unmedicated, the amount of caffeine would actually be standard to function. Still isn't healthy, and he's still an asshole for speaking to her that way. It's just the kind of thing I see differently than instantly jumping to addiction as a conclusion. Someone said, just because she's 16 doesn't mean she's stupid. Just because he's 24 doesn't mean he's smart. I've always found I'm older than you justification completely irrelevant. He's going to have a heart attack by 28. Yeah, you're kind of an ass. Sister is merely worried about you. Grow up. I love people. Yeah, dude, more and more people are realizing, or more and more people are ending up in the hospital due to an overload of energy drinks. I haven't heard of anyone in the hospital because of coffee. I actually was just talking to Abby about addictions and whatnot, and my literal only addiction is phone games, which I delete. I delete them off my phone and I won't let myself re-download them. And coffee. I used to be addicted to energy drinks, and that was hard for me to wean off of because they taste so delicious. They're cold, they're bubbly, and they give me that stimulant I need, but they are not good for me. And I could feel my heart hurting. So I had to wean myself off of those and switch fully just to coffee. And I try and stay really attuned to when I'm having too much coffee because I can feel myself kind of jitter. My stomach kind of hurts a little bit. I'm like, oh, yeah, stop that. Go drink some fucking water. It sucks because it gives you that hit you need right in that moment, but it's so bad for you. I don't judge. I do judge that you're an ass to your little sister. I don't judge being addicted to it, but just know that they are really bad for you. Oh, all the delicious things are. Moderation is key. Am I the asshole to refuse to help my wife bathe our son when she said she's tired today? Automatically, I'm going to say yes. If your wife asks for help with your child, you do it because it's your child and your wife. But let's read. Where I live, there's a hot summer right now, so we put our son under the shower almost every night after kindergarten time. Usually my wife is responsible for this. I just help get him undressed and fill the bath with water and toys, but she does the actual washing. Yesterday, my wife told me that she's tired and has back pain and wanted me to shower him this day. I was just coming home from work and I was exhausted. I will also have to do the dinner dishes at night while they are sleeping, so my day is not easier anyhow. As my wife always complains about being tired and not being able to do things, asking for help, etc., I told her that I am not also going to do the house chores at night as I am also tired. She got angry and told me that I don't care about her emotions and physical strength and that she doesn't ask me for this every day and still also insisted to not help. I still also insisted to not help. Oh, so you're just an asshole. One time your wife asks for help with the chore that she normally does on the daily and you're like, no, because I also do things. Fuck you. Lately, I've been hearing marriage is 60-40 and each person is trying to strive for the 60. That's what it is. If you notice your person is burnt out and tired and physically hurting, you suck it up and get one less hour of sleep and help with her shit so that maybe she can rest up and feel a lot better tomorrow and you can go back to your normal routine. It's not that hard to care. Do you like your wife? Do you love her? Act like it. Otherwise, get the fuck out and stop wasting your time. The amount of times I am exhausted, but Abby is like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, of course I will help you with this thing this one time. She never asks much of me. But of course, anytime she does, I'm going to help her. And if it becomes every single night and be like, hey, babe, can you help? Like, can we talk about this? Like, we need to figure out who's better at this chore, who has more time or energy for this. Every day is different. Every single day is different. Just because this is the normal routine doesn't mean that's how it's going to be every single night. Good. I'm going to see what people say. Oh, no, it still goes. My goal was to let her know that each one in the house has something to do. And if everyone says I'm tired, then nothing gets accomplished. I want to punch this man in the face. I wanted to punish her for stating very often that she's tired and has no energy to do anything. Although I know she has energy as she spends hours on Facebook and talking to her friends over the phone. I don't want things to escalate. I just want her to have discipline and do what she has to do. Am I the asshole? You 100% are the asshole, regardless of anything else, for saying you wanted to punish her. You want to punish your wife instead of having an adult conversation and trying to understand where she's coming from and trying to explain your emotions and where you're coming from and having a discussion. You wanted to just go ahead and punish her because she's a human being and a mom and said she's tired. You don't deserve her, and you don't deserve to be a husband. You don't deserve to be a father. The actual fuck. Thank God. Immediately. You're the asshole. You are her partner, not her owner. Do you understand what being in a relationship actually means? It means you help each other out when the other person needs help. You don't have the right to punish her because you don't like that she asked for help. Honestly, what the fuck? She has back pain, and therefore I imagine that bending over the bath would actually be quite painful. So yes, you both might be tired, but she's actually also in pain. The actual sensible thing you should be doing is sitting down with her to reassess which chores are causing her more pain and which ones would be more suitable so that you can reassign them to suit each other's strengths and weaknesses. Instead, you're being an asshole and wanting to punish your wife instead of helping her out. The OP responded to that and said, if complaining daily about her tiredness and back pain, how can any help from my side help here? On the other hand, if she does something she loves, she never complains about back pain. You idiot. You are just an absolute idiot. She's tired and has back pain because she's doing the chores that make her tired and have back pain. Maybe help figure out how to make her back pain go away. Maybe figure out how to make her less tired. Of course, the things she loves doing don't cause her pain. She's enjoying them and she wouldn't do them if they hurt her. Someone said, here's a thought. Why are you the one filling up the bath and undressing him? Let her do that, and then you can wash him. Washing a child literally takes 2 minutes tops, but the difference is you're bending over awkwardly over the tub. The issue here is that you're just refusing to even think of how to help her because it doesn't suit you, and you think you have the right to punish her. You know what's her biggest punishment? Being married to you. Fucking applaud for a poet. OP said, it's not that easy. My son wants to play in the bath, and usually a bath lasts around 30 minutes, including fighting to get him out, which she does better. You are weaponizing your incompetence here. So you're saying bath time is tiring and strenuous, is what you're saying. So you're saying everything she's saying is correct, but you don't want to do it. So you're going to say that she's lazy. Oh. Someone said, so why don't you play with your son or enforce limits? That's called parenting. Your wife is in pain. Marriage is supposed to be a partnership. Try parenting your son and supporting your wife. OP said, that's constructive. Thanks. And they responded and said, if you don't want your son to play in the bath, why the heck are you filling the bath with toys for him to play with? Any idea how stupid that sounds? Everyone hates this man, and I am so happy. Someone said, anyone else getting sneakily suspicion that he's conveniently leaving out that she's pregnant again? And then I want to punish her. She's not a dog. She's a full-grown adult and your wife, dude. I find it interesting that he complains about 2 chores, filling up the bathtub for their child and doing the after-dinner dishes at night. He mentions that his wife is the one who bathes their child because she does it better, but conveniently leaves out that it is implied that she also made dinner. OP goes to work and comes home to 2 chores at night. I think he would complain about more home responsibilities if he had them. And there's an implied power dynamic that he considers himself responsible for quote-unquote punishing his wife. Everyone is just so pissed that he said punishing. This guy doesn't deserve anything he has except the negative things. Oh, this is an angry episode. I'm angry. I'm angry today. It's my house falling apart and this administration and toxic men. Not good men. Toxic men. Get that straight. All right, guys, that's it for today. This is a longer solo episode. You're welcome. But I'm going to leave now. You're wonderful, beautiful people, and I will see you next week. I'll see you next week. Happy holidays. You're beautiful. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet where you can find the uncensored version of me, Rachel Ballinger. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, or follow, or do whatever this platform tells you to do so that you can get notified every time I post a new episode. Love ya!